Welcome back to the Mod Ventures YouTube series, Entrepreneurship Uncovered, a series where we interview a variety of up-and-coming and experienced business owners to hear their stories and draw wisdom from their experiences.
All right, good morning. I'm Gabby from Mod Ventures, and today we're going to do another episode of Entrepreneur Uncovered. And today we have with us Jessica Korf from Fleur de Lis Photography. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hi, we're just so excited. You're award-winning photographer, so I'm super excited to hear about your journey in getting there. So tell me all about the things. Like, how did you start? How did you get started? And
How I got started. I was attending art school for graphic design.
okay.
And started learning photography on the side a little bit. And one of the things I quickly learned as people use college kits for logos and such was that it was so much more powerful and meaningful to hand a mom photos of her child than it was to hand a business a logo, at least for me. So that really, the more that happened, the more that led me to believe that I wanted to do something that meant so much more.
Oh.
So I went down the photography path.
Right.
I was a hobbyist for a long time. I was a preschool teacher for 13 years and did it on the side.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Teacher.
Yeah.
Whew. That's a tough job.
I always joke that when I photograph animals, it's actually perfect because they're just like all the 2-year-olds I always had. It's no problem.
Herding cats, like 2-year-olds.
Offer them a treat and they're good.
So true. That's great.
I started my business when my youngest was 4 now, she was 4 months old. And my husband was like, we need to pull her out of preschool. Things were not working out. She was very high need. And I was like, what are we going to do? And he's like, well, you know that photography thing you're doing? I'm like, you better go do it. I was like, are you crazy?
Right. That's awesome. I love that. I love that you just jumped.
Yeah, and that's totally not my normal personality. What I've learned really well is that I need to surround myself with people who will push me.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'm like, that's scary, so.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. Okay, so let's fast forward, and now you're an award-winning photographer. Can you tell us all about that?
So in 2018, I was voted the best photographer for the Reader's Choice Awards here in Tucson. In the beginning of 2019, I was named one of the top 200 high school senior photographers for 2019 by Senior Year magazine, and that's worldwide.
Wow.
So that was really exciting. They featured some of our images in their publications.
That's amazing.
And so then they've continued to feature us in a few of their ones afterwards.
Yeah.
That's been really great. Just recently, we were also named 2019 favorite photographer in the Reader's Choice.
And that's for local Tucson.
That's for local, right?
Oh, wow.
I think there was something like 44 nominations on there.
Oh my gosh, that's like an epic win.
Yeah, it was really exciting.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really cool. So you're like gathering all these awards. Tell me about your niche and what you really love to do. Your passion obviously does show through. So tell me all about that.
Sure.
And what you're...
Sure. So I'm a luxury portrait photographer. And what that means is that I am with my clients every step of the way. So we meet, we plan, we design the session. I help them with wardrobe choices. Of course, we have a great session that really represents the importance to them. And then we go on and I help expertly guide them through their images to choose the ones that are best for what they need to do with. And then when they purchase wall art, I even install it myself. So that when I'm done, like all they have to do is enjoy it. Like there's no to-do list.
I mean, I think that's so different from what you typically get working with photographers.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I wanted to do was take all the stress out. Right?
Yeah.
It gets really nerve-wracking. I'm a mom of 4.
Yeah.
So, like, the concepts of ever trying to get everyone together, like, you're trying to figure it out. It's stressful.
Yeah.
So my goal is to take all the stress I can so that it's an experience that they truly enjoy.
Yeah. No, I think that's amazing. I think in today's world, photography is, like, such a big deal because we live in the digital social media world. You know, people need to show up digitally well. And so that's, like, an investment that people need to make. But it's also very, very scary because you get online and then you're comparing yourself, that sort of thing. So you deal with a lot of high school seniors.
Right.
And so tell me about that.
one part of my business is very about creating very dynamic, bold images that are custom made. They're really all about who they are right now. So, and I really apply that across the board to any of my portraits, but in high school seniors, it really becomes one of those things where you look back on and you're able to say, like, oh, I remember when I was into that. I remember when that's what I loved.
Yeah.
So it's really about bringing who they are right now into the picture.
Yeah.
One thing I love about working with high school seniors is that they're still so wide-eyed about the future, right? They don't know. They don't know yet.
Oh, yeah.
So,
it's so idealistic.
yeah, they're still dreamers.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and
yeah.
what I love about that, too, is it reminds me that it's okay to still be a dreamer.
Yes.
So I love that.
That is a good tip. So don't forget to be a dreamer,
Yeah,
right?
for sure,
I think as
for
adults
sure.
we do.
Yep.
We get into the day-to-day life and we forget.
You get buried by what the world tells you have to do
Yeah.
and by all of the expectations that we lay on ourselves.
Yes.
And I've noticed now, too, the more that social media becomes a big thing, the more I am shocked by how many beautiful girls come to me for photos who have no self-esteem. So it's been really an amazing thing to watch my high school senior photography, business grow on these girls from just like really fun images to actually like I've had girls crying because they don't see themselves that beautiful, which is crazy.
Yes.
But it is an actual thing we're dealing with right now. So that brings on the other side of what I do. I do something that often people dub as therapeutic photography.
Oh, they're therapeutic.
That's what they're calling it. Yes. And I like it. I like it a lot. I haven't personally dubbed it that yet, but I do like what's being said. And some of that goes back, I have a really big passion for domestic violence and for that fight against it. As we grow up in our society, we're really good at creating stories about ourselves. And that was one of my biggest fights and challenges that I went through when I was becoming a photographer is that self-worth.
Yeah.
And I think it's not just an artist. I do see it in artists a lot, but I think it's in all entrepreneurs run through it often.
Yes.
You know, who am I to do this? Am I really worth it? Is anyone going to be interested?
Imposter syndrome.
Yes, and I've dealt with that many times in my business.
Yeah, well, me too. I think that's huge.
It's a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem.
So it carries with us right through our whole lives. And it creates all these fears about what you can and can't do. But I think even deeper, those stories about ourselves and what we're carrying and where we're taking it is what builds that self-worth. And then we end up in these relationships that they're toxic for us.
Right.
We don't know how to appreciate ourselves enough to believe that we're any different than what we're being told. Yesterday, I read an article. It was published in like 2018, at the end of 2018, and it said 6 women every hour die from an intimate partner or past partner.
Wow.
That's the world we're living in right now.
Wow. So you said 6 women every minute?
Every hour.
Every hour. Oh my goodness. So it's like 1 every 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's just awful. So one of the things I'm doing, sort of my give back, right, is these sessions that are all about building those women up after divorce, after domestic violence. We bring them in, and you just really, you give them hair and makeup, you make them feel loved.
Yeah.
And then you show them their power. And it's so incredibly amazing to watch a woman who doesn't have a lot of confidence in herself to see these images and bawl over what she sees because she can't, it's so hard to fathom.
Oh, wow.
So it's something I really want to do on the domestic violence end. And I'm actually working on a project and series that will actually become something hopefully bigger later on. But what I know is that change has to start at home.
Yeah.
And it has to start young.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
Something else I do is called the Empowerment Project.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Empowerment project. I
yes.
love it. Okay.
And that's for tween girls.
Okay.
Typically speaking, I've done boys, I've done different ages, but this seems to be the sweet spot is girls between 9 and about 12. Before they go into middle school, before they're going into the cliques, the bullies, before they suddenly realize that everything they thought was fine about themselves doesn't fit in anymore. What we do is it's a surprise session. So I don't advertise it much because sometimes they see it, and the goal is really to keep it a surprise. They know we're having a session, so mom and me and her, we all sit down, we plan the session, we make it really custom to her, we make it everything she loves about who she is, which on its own builds a lot of confidence already.
Yeah, definitely.
But then behind the scenes, mom is sending out questionnaires, parents are filling it out. teachers, best friends. Those are my favorites. They come back to me. And then I pull from there the quotes about her, and I put them on her images. And then when we meet again, we get to surprise her with all the amazing things people have to say about her.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. Getting those images back and those words are written on there. It's like,
Right.
I would imagine builds memories and self-esteem and all these wonderful things so that they can take that with them into their next season of life.
Right. It's an incredibly powerful session. Usually everybody in the room's crying.
Yeah.
Dads are stepping out so nobody knows they are.
Yeah.
And then we have an inspiration box that can go along with it that I love. And this is this keepsake with all of those images on there that she can hold. And so when she's going through the tough times, she can refer back to them to build that.
Right. So really, I think Fleur-de-Lis, I mean, what you're describing to me is about self-worth and self-esteem building. I mean, photography is definitely, involved in that, but you're building an experience that's actually going into forever, like their forever story. So what a powerful thing that you're doing.
Thanks.
Amazing. So as a businesswoman, I know that you have to have other people around you that are helping you and supporting you as you're growing in your business. So tell me a little bit about what that looks like for you.
I'm a huge supporter of collaboration. It's really important to me to surround myself. I'm a solopreneur by myself.
Sure.
And most of the time, it's just me and my computer. And we talked about stories and the things that get in our way. And if I don't surround myself with a team of people who were rooting for each other and we're working together to build each other up, who push me when I need pushed, who love me when I need a little bit of love and grace, right? But who ultimately we're all fighting for each other to rise up. I would not be where I am.
Right.
I wouldn't. One of the first things I did when I joined my business was I was like, I don't know enough people, and I joined a B&I group.
Yeah. Yep.
And I knew immediately I would need a team of people who were helping me.
Yeah.
And that was the last thing I ever remembered being in contact with, so I was like, I'm doing that. And that taught me really quick, first of all, about public speaking and being in front of people and really getting your message concise.
Yes.
So
yeah, B&I was like my beginning in learning how to market and tell about my story and who I am and what I'm offering. It was probably the best thing that I ever did because on a weekly basis I had to do that, show up and do that. And there's still clients that are, around since then.
And I think getting into a group like that on its own is so important for personal development as well.
Yeah.
Right? I was in it for like 2 months and they're like, will you be vice president? And I'm like, but I have to stand up and talk a lot and I have to do things. And I grew so much by putting myself out there though.
Yeah.
And I went on to win an award for that too.
Good for you. Oh my goodness. You're full of awards.
But then on that, additionally, it wasn't just that. That's just where I learned about how you needed that team of people.
Yeah.
So then I reached out and you grabbed the women who are on the same path. And everybody's helping each other. For me, it's women. It's really important because of what I do. But it could be men. There's plenty of men who are also part of my team.
Right. Sure.
But they're supporting you and they're pushing you, right? And getting you to where you really need to be. I carried so many fears. It was so hard to break through.
Oh, yeah.
And so I attended something called Landmark, the Landmark Forum.
Okay.
And that helps clear a ton of stuff out really quick.
Wow.
Like it's a weekend of just clean it out. Okay. And it was really amazing for me. And it really gave me some clarity and which gave me more ability to be comfortable approaching other business owners and saying, how can I help you?
Yeah.
And how can we grow?
Right.
So that's been probably the biggest part of why I've gotten to where I have. I would not be here without all of the amazing people that I surround myself with.
Yeah.
They say that you are the sum of the people you spend the most time with, so you gotta choose wisely.
Yes, definitely. Well, and I think that's the thing is like entrepreneurship is hard work. I mean, it's super, super hard, and if you don't surround yourself with people, it does feel very, very lonely.
Yeah.
I know we're part of a group that just went through the High Performance Habits by Brandon Bouchard. I'm making sure I have that right title, but that was one of the things that he touched on was, making sure that you have you should never really say that, it's lonely at the top. Oh, I think I've said that. And it's because you're not surrounding yourself around enough people. So I think that's such a key to your own business growth, but also your growth personally. Right. And when you're in business, it's kind of both. You have to grow personally. They
are one and the same.
Exactly. You have to grow. It takes a lot of work, whether it's through a landmark forum, is that what you mentioned? Yeah. Or just like on your own, and finding those mentors from afar to help you through that. It's super, super important.
Well, and it's not just the support. It's also you have different minds thinking on things. Yes. So the collaboration means that it's not all one vision. It's not all one, I think this way and you think another way. You're able to bring together something that really is a completed whole piece.
Yeah.
Because
we call that synergy. So there's synergy.
There you go. Yes, exactly.
Well, one person might have one idea, like you said, and it spurs on some more other ideas, and it morphs into something even better. And that's amazing.
And you can find it in your own industry among the same people who are doing the same thing, but it's really, for me, it's super powerful to step outside that industry.
Yes.
And see how people are doing things, and then how can I apply that to what I'm doing?
You are
so important.
Right. Because like if you stick within your same industry, it's like an echo chamber. Everybody's kind of doing the same thing and talking about the same things and how to fix the same problems. It's nice to know what other people are doing in your industry because that's kind of like there's best practices, right?
For sure. And I think when you first start out, it's really important to find a mentor in your industry to help you get where you need to go.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that I offer now too. I do coaching for photographers who want to get to a point where they're running a business that's profitable and they can actually do what they love.
I
right?
love it.
So that's something I do too. You reach back and you help those who want to get there too.
Yeah.
Because I'm truly there.
You teach what you know. That's like the breadth of what I think most entrepreneurs start to do.
Well, rising tide raises all the boats.
Yeah, and absolutely.
So I'm a big fan of the collaborations on all end.
Yeah.
Helping everybody rise.
I love it. So Jessica, it was so nice having you today. We're just so excited to be able to tell your story and have you on.
Oh, thank you for having me. I was excited to tell it.
Definitely. So tell us how we can find you on all the platforms.
Sure. I'm of course on Facebook, and so you can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, and on my website at Fleur de Lis Photography. I'm going to spell that for you. It's FLEURDELEA, and then photography, and .com for the website, of course. And I also have a seniors page that's Fleur de Lis Seniors on Instagram, and I think that's it right now.
All right, awesome. All right, well, thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to seeing you just grow and prosper and do well. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's Entrepreneurship Uncovered. If you got some great tips out of this video, make sure that you like and subscribe, and definitely share this with some photography friends. I think there's so much value in sharing this information with other people, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
We do hope that you enjoyed this episode of Entrepreneurship Uncovered. Make sure that you're subscribed to our channel so you don't miss any new videos published every Monday and Thursday.